You feed the fish. The fish eat some of the food, and the rest just goes to the bottom. The fish expel waste, and the uneaten food begins to decay. All of this leads to ammonia, so let's stop there. Ammonia is a caustic compound found everywhere, from household cleaners to even in our bodies. You and I as mammals have means in which to reduce the amounts of ammonia in our system, these kind of self-defense mechanisms, but fish don't have that luxury. Inflamed gills, clamped fins, gasping at the surface of the aquarium are all signs of ammonia poisoning, and there is no cure. Once the damage is done, it's done. It's irreversible. Because of this, it is vital to keep the ammonia amounts so small that test kits can't even pick it up. There is an answer to this, and it's called Nitrosomonas. They are the first of two beneficial bacteria that keep the aquarium in homeostasis. Nitrosomonas take ammonia and break it down into slightly less toxic nitrite. Now, as with the other beneficial bacteria, Nitrosomonas require ammonia first in order to grow and divide. So, to cycle your tank, you're going to have to introduce ammonia somehow, whether it's by adding fish food and allowing that to decay, or adding a small amount of fish which will produce ammonia, or using a commercial product. A tank without a healthy, viable population of Nitrosomonas will simply kill every fish you put in the tank. Now we're dealing with nitrites. Even a few parts per million is enough to begin causing damage to the spleen, to the kidneys, to the liver, to the nervous system. Nitrites bind with the hemoglobin, thus decreasing the amount of oxygen that a fish can utilize. The second of these beneficial bacteria is Nitrobacter. It converts nitrites into nitrates, which is much less harmful to fish and can be regulated by simple weekly water changes. So now that we've covered all that, let's actually talk about how you grow this stuff. Nitrosomonas love the dark. You ever wonder why aquarium filters are usually opaque? This is because that's where they want them to concentrate. If you see a slime over your biofilter media, it's because these bacteria have concentrated there and have created a slime coat to protect itself from light. This is a good thing, and this is why you don't wash off your biomedia. And keep in mind, neither one of these bacteria needs light in order to grow and divide. But Nitrosomonas require a large amount of ammonia in order to complete cell division. So a very low ammonia concentration is going to require several days, as opposed to having a higher ammonia concentration. Though Nitrosomonas can divide and populate as quickly as every 7 hours. So now that you understand that, you kind of get why it takes so long for an aquarium to cycle up naturally. Nitrosomonas are found almost everywhere, and they will naturally occur within the aquarium. In order to understand how slow this process can be, we can begin with the Nitrosomonas, and let's say you have one. At the end of 7 hours, you have 2. You'll have 4 at the end of 14 hours. You'll have 8 at the end of 28 hours. You'll have 16 at the end of 56 hours. As time goes on, you'll have 128, 256, 512, 124, so on and so on. And if you were to extrapolate this out, you'd probably be amazed how quickly a healthy population of Nitrosomonas can be represented in your aquarium. However, this analogy isn't perfect. Your aquarium will eventually introduce new Nitrosomonas from the environment, and of course we're not accounting for die-off. So you understand how slow it is at the beginning of the process and how rapidly it builds up. Now the second bacteria, Nitrobacter, the one that converts nitrates with an A to nitrites with an I, grows between every 10 to 20 hours depending on what research you're reading. Now I can't stress this enough. The next part that I want to get to is for a very select few. What I want those people, those experienced aquarium keepers to understand is that Nitrosomonas prefer a higher pH while Nitrobacter prefer a lower pH. So if you're diligent and constantly testing the water, you can actually adjust the pH levels to encourage growth of a particular bacteria species. Though doing this will open up the door to having your tank just crash. Now for the rest of us, it's just important to know that if you're doing a fishless cycle, you don't want your ammonia to reach 0, because then your bacteria don't have anything to feed on. And you can deal with this by adding fish food. You can use a commercial product, There's products out there that are strictly ammonia, and they won't introduce anything harmful into the aquarium that you're going to have to worry about later on down the road. In full disclosure, I've never done it that way, so I can't really speak to this, but there's plenty of people out there who can. But if I ever have to start up an aquarium manually from scratch without biomedia from another aquarium, then I'm doing no fish, and I'm adding fish food, and there's a reason for this. The fish food will decay, it will release ammonia, but also in most fish foods you're going to end up with phosphates, and phosphates, the bacteria need it. So you'll occasionally come across like forum posts and things like that, which they have a crashed cycle. Everything just went wrong. They didn't get the white bloom. And in researching for doing this video, I actually came across what I suspected was the same thing. It's the phosphates. So if you are doing a fishless cycle, go ahead, take some of the fish food, grind it up real fine, sprinkle it in the aquarium. You really don't need much. Now another trick is to increase the temperature of your aquarium, and you can jump it up to about 80 or 82, and this will encourage that grow and divide process that you want to see in a startup cycle. And I'm sure everybody understands both forms of these bacteria, both of these species, require a well-oxygenated environment. So you could do things like leave the water level a few inches below where your hang-on back filter is, if that's what you have, or you can add an air stone. Doing anything to increase the surface agitation will introduce more dissolved oxygen, making that habitat more hospitable for these bacteria. You can also increase the flow throughout the aquarium because these bacteria don't just live in the filter. They can attach to ornaments and substrate and things like that, so you want a lot of movement in the aquarium. Of course, you have to account for what the fish can handle, but you can measure that out pretty easily, I think. The essential point that I'm trying to get to here is that you don't want dead spots in your aquarium. And by dead spots, I mean places where the water is not moving quickly enough to get fresh ammonia to these bacteria. Then you can start having some other problems, and there's actually other bacteria involved in this that we're not going to cover today, and maybe one day I'll get to if y'all want to hear about it. They're called anaerobic bacteria. It seems like I'm forgetting something, like there's a crucial point or two that I wanted to make, and now I can't remember what it was. So if I come up with it, I'll put it on the blog. I won't bother making another video out of it, but thenatureaquarium.com, go to the blog, take a look there, and I'll fill in whatever. And if you have thoughts, if you have solutions, if there's something critical that I've missed here or didn't explain well enough, please find us on social media. Leave it down in the comments below. Let the comments be a forum. Y'all talk. I want to see what y'all have to say. I want to see what I missed. And you can talk to me personally on Facebook. I check that just about every day. So thank you guys. thenatureaquarium.com, and we'll talk to you soon.